The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Tiger Technician Hour with your host, Basil Chapman. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Now, Basil Chapman.
Hi, folks. Let me just go right to this. This is Friday, the 10th of November. We're looking at, this is the E-mini. So in the Chapman Wave methodology, I'll just do this now because Friday is our technical teaching day of the Chapman Wave methodology. I'm always trying to identify the lowest low bar. And there's this very simple technique. You start off identifying a low. And then if it makes a peak A, and then pulls back, as long as it holds the left side low to the penny. If it takes it out by a penny, you have to restart the whole thing. You're in a buy. You're at least moving up. If you go to a leg B, that's very often where the buy signal gets upgraded to a buy mode. Now, one of the few times that this fails in the very short term is when there's an 8:30 news report or 10 o'clock news report, and it just impacts the market just for a split second. You get this volatile move to the upside, which then fails, and it can change things. So yeah, you've got a leg B, goes to a peak B from the low that was made at 8:30. Was that exactly 8:30? No, sorry, didn't mean 8:30. I meant 9, just after the open, 9:38. And you had already made a peak G in the 1 minute chart. So this went peak A, peak B, and then it started to fail, and now it's sitting on the 200 period moving average. If it takes this out, that's the 43.72.25 low that was made at 9:38. Then that negates this. But at this particular point, that B is still active. And that means this little A right, this little peak here is called an A, and this leg right now is a B, another one. It could make that and go to a D and fail because the objective is to go from a buy signal upgraded to a buy mode, which says you should go to at least 4 higher peaks. I'm going to show you how this relates to where we are in the market itself with the other indices. So now this is an A and this is a B, but this is the one time that it could be so volatile that it could be taken out. So I did this really quickly. I probably shouldn't have. I set up just before I came on air. I usually don't like to do that. I like to prepare a little bit, but I thought, this looks like it's going to fail. And at 43 was 81 or something, I grabbed a short position. But because whenever I put a short position, I always put in a stop, or I put in a long position, I put in a stop, and it's very tight because if I time it, it's usually just right to the bar. Otherwise, I could be taken out. So I put in a very tight stop. I got stopped out for a point. I would have made an adjustment, but I had to get onto the news, Thai Financial News Network news. So I did that. And now it is at this target that I thought would be the test, which is at 43.75. But wait a minute. The reason why I did it is because the 5 minute chart, look at this. Here's the 5 minute chart. This is the E-mini, S&P. And the reason why I love to do this, it just helps planning in all the other trades, even though it's a short-term trade. So I have to put a down arrow now because the 9-period moving average. So this is a beautiful two-click session with at about 7:30 or so, it flipped positive, and it stayed positive all the way to that high that was made at 43.86.50 at a leg E. Very next bar made a peak E, and that was kind of the timing I was looking at for taking to consider what to do next. And then very soon after that, had that short position. I'm sorry it got stopped out because I think it could have held. And here is the 10-minute chart. I always say weekly, but it's the 10 because here's the 1, it's like the daily. Here's the 5, it's like the weekly. And here's the 10, it's like a monthly. So in this 10-minute chart, the 9 is still way over the 14. That's a good sign. So the 43.71 200-period moving average in the 5-minute chart is really key to hold because that'll also impact. But here we are sitting at 43.76, right on the 200-period moving average of the 10-minute chart. I had to redo some of the notation. Yeah, you can see it slipped. I had a whole bunch of things. It was just beautiful. I don't know what happens every once in a while. The notation just slides, and I have to move them over. They're all correct, but in the wrong place. So you had made a peak D. That peak E gave you a nice pullback. This peak D right now, remember the fourth highest peak is peak D. That's where other things can happen. It's your objective. That's when you have to do another analysis. So I had a question, and I'll do this real quickly. Wow. I'll see if I can do it now. So question on Microsoft. Microsoft, which is up 3 at 363.77. Could I show the 10-minute chart? Yeah. So this is a really familiar pattern. You see the way it makes a top, then it pulls back, and then it has a quick spike to test that previous high. So in Microsoft's case, what I normally would do here is I'd grab the top key. I was thinking musically, this top note or top bar, and I drag it across, and then I say, could I have a left side, right side price time match to give me some sense of, and I'd find a particular candle. I'd go to that candle right there. Okay, so this is what I would put in to say, this is the chance that Microsoft could make a new recovery high from yesterday. And let me go again. I'll do the same thing with Apple. This is what we do on Fridays, Technical Friday. So you see how it's rallying? It's now at 364.49. My target, no, I should have mentioned, we are long from 338. I treat it as a proxy for the Dow on Tuesday, the Tuesday after the market low, after the Friday low. It's gone from 338 and 336. I'll show you in a moment. Well, that's two different things. Right now, we're looking at the very short term. Can it test the high that was made yesterday? And if it does that, 364.79. We're at 364.49. So we'll see what happens. Can I make an extra 40 cents to break out to a new recovery high? So now, okay, I just want to show you that, how this works. And this is that pattern that I call the lopsided gravy cup. It's almost like a falling axis to an extent. But now what we're looking at is the time was to 10:50 that it should try to test or take out the high of 12 noon yesterday of 364.79. Here's Apple. Oh, why does it keep steaming? Apple, if I can type that in and press the button, there it is. And Apple had the same thing. Pulls back, and then a big gap up, and it made a new recovery high. So when I'm looking at this, how does Apple sustain its level of this upward rally? It needs, within about 3 10-minute bars, that will take it to, it's 30 minutes. So by about 10:40, it should attempt at least to get above the high that was made of 184.79. So what does it have to hold? It has to hold 183.57, the 9-period moving average, and then just below it is the 14-period moving average of 183.36. The MACD is good. Stochastic is good at 82%. I forgot to mention that in the Microsoft. Why is that? Microsoft is at 89% in the 10-minute stochastic. That is really good. And the MACD is good, and the 9's over the 14. So I just wanted to do a couple of things right there. All right, now we'll get to the market. I'll be back in a moment for the target conditions out. Oh, I got a question about a Bitcoin stock. I'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years years' experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
The Gold Report. As a precious metal, gold is still king. It continues to hold the most effective safe haven and hedging properties across the global major trading hubs of the London OTC market, the U.S. futures market, and the Shanghai Gold Exchange. The Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his weekly gold report every Monday morning for subscribers, consisting of coverage of the XAU, HUI, GDX, the dollar, bonds, the South African rand, as well as 25 different mining equities with specific buy-sell recommendations. The Gold Report. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. Subscribe to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report newsletter now at TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched The Tiger's Den. Hosted at Discord, TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Hi, folks. So let's just go through this real quickly. So I want to apply what we were talking about before, that big single leg A almost from a low to the previous high. Look what we've done here in the Dow. That is a single leg A, and then it goes to a peak A, and it's almost 2,000 points. One of the biggest single leg A's that I've seen in a long time in the daily. We've got that type of thing, and look at this one in the weekly. We've seen that before. But the objective in terms of analyzing whatever chart it is based on at least the techniques that I use, so is to tell me what indicators give you not the thrust, the torque. I used to talk about this with our former colleague, late Dave White, all the time, about what gives me the starting, the gears that start your first gear, second gear, third gear, that gives you the momentum to go into drive and just sit there in this upper gear. And that's your momentum. So I treat the stochastic as your torque. That's your thrust. The momentum gets taken over by this green line in the MACD. The wider the distance between the green, the 9-period differential, and the 26-period moving average, the greater the chance that if the stochastic can get to 80%, then 85%, and preferably touch 90% and flatten out, because if it reverses back down under 80%, that's a very big negative. The stronger the move is going to be. That's why I said by Monday or Tuesday, we should have a really good sense of the bigger picture. So look how we had that sharp pullback. We talked about it for a couple of days, saying I'm anticipating some quick, sharp pullback, and how it holds into Friday and Monday is going to be really important. Well, yesterday we went down to the support line of the Chapman Wave inside track. So what is the inside track? Where am I here? Inside track. First of all, let me show you this pattern. This is called the falling axe. You rally up and then you start to make lower highs and much lower lows, and then you suddenly find support. And if you take out that resistance line, that's really important. But within these lines, I like to draw in just like a 16th or an eighth of an inch. That's a real technical term. I draw in a parallel line. You remember, a trend line is one line. Two trend lines that are parallel make a channel. So this is a mini channel, an exact mini channel. And look how it went right to the base, and now it's trying to get out of it. That's really important. So this is that falling axe, because what happens if you significantly break it, there's a chance you can do a 1-to-1, a parallel move to the upside. I don't want to show it right now. I'll get to it in a moment. With the semiconductors, we've already done that. And how you break out is going to be very important. But I'm saying that there's a chance that it happens every once in a while that you get this magnificent thrust to the upside. You go to a peak A or even a peak B. But then what happens, if peak B fails just slightly above A, there's a chance that it's telling you that you've made your big move and now there's just residual strength. And you're going to go nominally higher, but not much. And you're going to get to a D. But it's only like 1/3 higher than the low that's made after the trough after A. All right, a lot of talking. Let's just go to the charts and see exactly what's happening here. Whoops. Let me just get to the charts right here. Before I get to the charts, I'm going to take a caller. We got Earl in Seminole. Earl, how are you?
I'm doing excellent, Basil. Thank you.
Good.
I'd like to have you take a look at an entry for North American Grumman, NOC.
So, NOC is the symbol, folks. Northrop Grumman defense sector. It had a high of 556.27 back in October of 2022. That's just this past October, a year ago. And here it is at 460, having gone down to the 419 area. And then it had a big move. Oh, and the last one was actually 410. And then it spiked up to 490. There was a peak B. Wow, that almost looks like the chart that I showed a moment ago of the E-mini, the 1 minute chart. Charts just repeat themselves over and over. So this is, let me just put it this way. The 200 period moving average is at 4. So you don't have a position yet. Is that correct?
I'm just buying, I think, today.
Okay. So let me just do this. At the same time, I just want to have a look at GD, General Dynamics, all in the same defense area, not specifically the same products, but in the defense area. So
yeah, I already hold Lockheed Martin.
And you've already got, okay. So yeah, you've got a peak D and GD. This is a very nice looking chart. LMT, Lockheed Martin, has almost the same pattern as GD in the daily, but the weekly chart is much weaker. So is the monthly. So let me just do this. Your question is on.
Could I tell you just a little background?
Sure.
They're war stocks, and they took a big jump when the Israeli war started.
Correct. But at the same time, they also have the same participatory action as gold. Had a huge move up, and then gold has just been kind of filtering down, down, down. And that says to me that what people are expecting, or we're expecting, out of what's going on in the Middle East right now, they could be under a misunderstanding in that the action that's taken, and when Israel actually takes action, it has to usually do it they're going to get lambasted no matter what they do. So they always immediately do what they have to do, and then they take the heat, whatever it is, and it saves them for another year or 2 or 3 from the next attack. That's the way it is. So I'm thinking, when I look at this and I'm looking at gold, I'm suspecting that what's going on now is telling us that it is not the military of the defense. Maybe it is Raytheon, RTX. Let me just look at this, Raytheon. See, Raytheon's still holding its gains. It's not a good weekly chart, it's not a good monthly chart, but the daily chart has continued, and that's telling me that the defense that it has with the shield that's much more needed right now as a defensive mechanism, because the attack mechanisms are all in place. I think that's what I'm reading in the charts of gold, and I got a feeling that in maybe another 2 weeks or so, or maybe even next week sometime, that's where the real test comes with gold. If gold suddenly starts to move, it's at 1947. If gold goes above 2020, then I think both the stocks that we are talking about now, that's NOC, Northrop Grumman, GD, and the others are going to move much higher. So at this particular time, it's telling me that as an entry point, it's an entry point. I don't know how you handle stops or anything like that, but I'm just saying to you that if Northrop Grumman goes below 446 and it's at 460 right now, that sounds like it's far away, but it's had some really quick moves from the 490s down to the 460s. If it does that, and the weekly chart says that's a possibility, I'd like to go into this in a little more detail if you don't mind holding. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, great. That's all. We'll be back. Dow's up 69, giving back a chunk, and the S&P's up 12, giving back a chunk. Basil Chapman, Tiger Technicians out. We'll be back.
Currencies, commodities, and bond markets are as important as ever right now with how they're driving the volatility in equity markets across the globe, which is why it's a great time to try out Teddy Kegstat's Tiger Forex Report. Teddy Kegstat breaks down the Forex markets every Monday using his 30-plus years of experience as a trading veteran of futures, Forex, stocks, and options. Teddy releases his weekly Tiger Forex Report every Monday morning with coverage of all the major currency pairs, including the dollar index, the euro dollar, pound dollar, dollar Swiss, dollar yen, as well as many more, and he also has weekly coverage of the crude oil market and the 30-year T-bonds, as they both influence Forex markets tremendously. When you sign up for the Tiger Forex Report, you also gain instant access to Teddy's 60-minute webinar archive he just hosted, Forex Strategies and Fundamentals, What is Behind the Tiger Forex Report. For all the details and to start your 30-day Tiger Forex Report subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Hi folks, we're back. We're on with Earl Seminole. We're looking at Northrop Grumman trading at 460.37, down 72 cents, making lower lows and lower highs. So looking out, it will take some kind of news events, Earl, to suddenly see its spike and then start to move into the 478 level. It needs 478, which is another 18 points from here on the upside for me to say the weekly chart is changing its character from being kind of weak to kind of strong. So I I don't feel comfortable, but I saying anything other than I would, if you're wanting to enter it, you could enter right here at 460.27, but I would prefer to say if you want to enter it, I would scale in with 2 positions of whatever you were going to do now. I'd split it in 2. I'd start at 460, now it's 460.14, and only if it can trade by, it has to be quickly, by Tuesday, if it can be trading in the I'd say the 464.50 area, you could add the next position. But I would start off with this one, and this one, the 4, let me give you the exact number, the 455.90, let's call it 456 level. If that's taken out, that's the 200 period moving average, I'd be a little careful. And if it takes it out with only 1 position, then I'd say, hey, you got to be really careful. If you already add the second position and it comes down to that, then I'd say, it's not working at all. So I just go one day at a time. And I'm going to say to you, if you want to start your position, start it here. And I'd have, I don't know what kind of stop you'd have, but I personally would have like a 5-point stop just initially. Why? Because if it's going to work, it needs to work fairly soon. I mean, this war is over a month old, and it's just going to lower lows and lower highs. So that's the way I would look at it. I don't know if that helps you, but that's kind of my thinking right now.
Yeah, I have another question.
Yes.
Lockheed's dividend is coming up the end of this month. How do you trade around a dividend?
So when it comes to dividends, I tend to, Lockheed Martin, LMT, I tend to say, just let it do what it's going to do. But if I have a stop in place and I know that the earnings are coming out, if the dividend is about to be paid, a day or so before that, I change any stop that I have to the amount of the dividend. So because the dividend is going to come out of the stock, you're going to get stopped out when you actually want to be in the stock and you're getting paid the dividend. So I would say you've got to measure it, and that's the one day, and then you start a brand new stop from whatever it is after that. Let's just say Lockheed Martin, let's just say it's today, and Monday the dividend is coming out, and the dividend is 2% or 1.3%, whatever it is. I would then say whatever my stop is, I have to increase it by that amount, and then I start fresh.
I understand.
And that's just because
one other question.
Yes.
I trade this category because I like the war stocks. Do you like RTX now for a trade?
You know, it's so funny. I know someone who's a senior engineer in Raytheon. I never, ever talk about it. And one of the reasons is I've found that people who are in the business, and he's only a senior engineer, but I've spoken to people who are the CEOs or anyone but the accountant in a firm, and they normally have no clue as to why their stock is doing whatever it's doing. So all I can say is that I'm a little surprised at the depth of the decline from the 86 level in Raytheon down to the 68 level. And any information that I glean, I get it from more news that I read, and I put it together, and it seems to me that the dome that they've developed, because there was such a vast, there were 3,000 or something rockets, that's the most number of rockets, and they didn't contain them all. It's an incredible piece of software, but it didn't contain them all. So I suspect that Raytheon is the one that's going to get more finances from the government, because it's in the area of software that is it's expensive because you need engineers, but it isn't hardware. So I think that this is the one that has the better comeback in the long term, and I don't disagree with you. The war stocks are always in play, even when they have big pullbacks. But right now, in relation to what's going on in the Middle East, I'm just going to say to you, my eye says not on a weekly basis or a monthly basis, but on a daily basis, the way it's held all through this last rally and even today, even though it's down a fraction. Raytheon seems to me the one that has the greater longer-term potential. I wish I could give you inside information about it. I have not a clue about inside information other than anytime I hear anything, you have to put the figures together yourself. And all I can say, I'm looking at the chart. I'm looking at the way the others have pulled back. This one's holding. I think this is probably, and it's also in a different area to the ones that you spoke about. Raytheon is not just software. They obviously produce a lot of other things, but this is the one that says to me, has growth because it has this whole AI capability.
Well, Basil, as always, your insight is just wonderful. I've been channel trading LMT, Lockheed, and
yes.
I wanted to get into channel trading Northrop, but since you've explained it, you've added a lot that I didn't know, and I really appreciate it. You
Good.
are
Now,
the best.
Thank you very much. Just as a little bonus, I just wanted to say, if you're looking at trend lines, if you look at Lockheed Martin's low of 2020, down in the 260-ish area, and you got just one single line. I love the way these lines. How do the lines know that they're going to hit even years later at exactly the same level? And you've got, look at this beautiful number of months to the low, and then again to this particular low. There's a beautiful up channel. I don't know if you're able to see it. I'm drawing this monthly, and look, I click parallel, and it goes to this parallel line. And from this peak A to the peak B to the peak C and the peak D, you've got another trend line. So if you're looking at trend lines, and since this is Technical Friday, I'll use this as an educational tool. Here's your trend line. It went right into the buy mode, or buy zone, the buy zone of the monthly chart, right there when it made the low in October of, we're in November, last month, when it hit 393, and now it's broken above, and the green 9-period moving average is still very positive, and the upper trend line, the green, I'll make this green, and I'll make this red. Look at this. It's just so easy. I mean, I'm just clicking, right? There's nothing to think here. It does it all for you. It hit exactly the trend line resistance at the peak D, leg D, because we have to wait for the full month. So yes, and the mid-channel says at any point if Lockheed Martin can start to trade above 472, that's going to be very good action. That's what it needs. But in the meantime, it's making higher high and higher low in the monthly chart.
Thank you,
Basil. Hope that helps.
Thank you
very much. Speak to you soon. Folks, Dow's up 48. We'll be right back.
The Gold Report. As a precious metal, gold is still king. It continues to hold the most effective safe haven and hedging properties across the global major trading hubs of the London OTC market, the U.S. futures market, and the Shanghai Gold Exchange. The Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his weekly gold report every Monday morning for subscribers, consisting of coverage of the XAU, HUI, GDX, the dollar, bonds, the South African rand, as well as 25 different mining equities with specific buy-sell recommendations. The Gold Report. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee so you have nothing to risk. Subscribe to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report newsletter now at TFNN.com.
Are you ready to take your trading to the next level? Introducing Tom O'Brien's award-winning newsletter, Market Insights, your key to successful active trading. Tom O'Brien, renowned for his expertise in the financial markets, has designed Market Insights to be your daily guide to profitable trades. Tom publishes his daily Market Insights newsletter every market day before the market open, along with updates when warranted. Stay ahead of the game with Tom's real-time analysis and trade recommendations delivered straight to your inbox. Whether you're a seasoned trader or just starting out, Market Insights provides the edge you need to navigate the markets with confidence. Ready to join the ranks of successful traders? Head over to TFNN.com and subscribe to Market Insights today. Don't miss out on this opportunity to supercharge your trading results. Market Insights comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee for all new subscribers, so you have nothing to risk. Don't miss out on this opportunity to revolutionize your trading game. Head over to TFNN.com right now to join the thousands of traders who have already experienced the power of Tom O'Brien's award-winning newsletter Market Insights firsthand. TFNN, educating investors.
Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Hi, folks. Let me get some questions. I've got a lot to do. I had a whole bunch of stuff that I thought technical Friday I should do. I won't right now. So a question came in. ProShares Bitcoin Strategy ETF. This is the BITO is the symbol. I don't know anything about it. I had done some work on it. I was asked about it before, and I haven't updated it. So that's D. Let me just go here. We're always looking for a D. Remember, D is where other things can happen. There's your first D right there. This is A. I'll update it now. That's B. All I'm doing is putting in letters like the alphabet. That's all you need. Going to a D. There it is. In the daily chart, the weekly chart is peak A. Always looking for a D. Let's see, A. Wow, I didn't update that. A B. Oh, it's in leg D right now, above the previous D. And the monthly chart is in leg B. So the question is, can I do an analysis of it? Well, it's already done the left side, right side price time match to this tiny candle I love. I have particular candles that I choose for the midpoint, the plumb line. If you can't do it at exactly the halfway marker. Oh, did I put my cell phone on? Because I was expecting an important call. Ew. Give me 1 second. There, okay, good. Might have missed it. Okay, so here's your left side, right side price time match, and it got there a little bit earlier in the weekly chart. Yeah, so I like this very much. Remember, for about, I'd say it's 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, I've been saying I think Bitcoin is in play. It's in play because of many, many factors, but as an alternative count, I have not got back into subscribers, got back into this yet. So this is doing very well. At this particular point, I think it's based on the on-balance volume is overbought. Stochastics flat at 89%. That's fabulous. MACD's very strong. 9's over the 14. Prices over the 9. Weekly charts, same thing. The stochastics only at 75%. I can see a bit of a pullback to the 17s. And then I think there's going to be an attempt to try to take out 1950, that's going to be the tough thing. Can it do it in this move, or does it have to wait? The weekly chart is already at a leg D. Doesn't make a peak D next week. There's nothing technically wrong with it, and the monthly chart is improving. I like this very much, and I don't think that the gap between 17 and 16 is going to be filled just yet. I do think it will be filled, but let me just see how it goes for the next week or so. If you're long, that's fine. If you want to add to it, not yet. Not at this particular point. Next question came in is a U is the Energy Fuels Inc. uranium. It's held very nicely. It's the one that I said out of the two, the one that we own for subscribers, UEC, is my favorite out of all the charts in the uranium area that I've at least followed. Now it's made a peak E, and I think this is going to be quite a bit of a give back. Peak E in the daily. It's going to be a peak E this today in the weekly, and on a leg, it's gray A. I thought I'd take time to discuss this. Maybe I'll have to do it Monday. but I don't want to do that now because I've got a lot of other questions that have come in. So that's the best. Now, go back to you. And I'm just saying to you that the Energy Fuels Inc. uranium is holding now quite a bit better because it's already had its consolidation. Remember CCJ we were looking at before, Cameco? That's the one that I said is kind of the leader of the pack. It went to a new all-time high. I think it's an all-time high in the 42 range about 6 sessions ago, and now it's just pulling back a little bit. I think this is in play. I think uranium area, what is it, URA? URA? Yes, Global X Uranium ETF looks very much like UUU. It doesn't look like UEC, it looks like UU. And this is just kind of stalling here. So looking out, I don't think you should do anything because I think you've been in for a long time. Where would you add? Hold off adding. Let's look at it again. Maybe Tuesday. Give me a yell. Tuesday, we'll look at it again. Whoops. Oh, but UUU is what you should have owned. It's trading up 1.78% today at 466. Look at this. Peak A, peak B, peak C, peak D. I don't know what it is. I should know. I think I've done this before by mistake. Universal something other. Universal, if I can read it. Universal Security International. Whoa, nice move. Let me just put that down here. Keep an eye on this one on a pullback. So yeah, so you keep holding, but do be prepared that just on the shorter term, it's kind of digesting these gains, taking quite a while. The fact that it's gone sideways will be a good sign if it can get to 6.35. 6.35. By any time next week, if it just tag it once before it tags 735, that to me would be really good. I think it's actually going to arch over a little bit. I think it's short term. It's just taking a breather. That's that. Next question was NXE. NXE is. So I'm looking at the Tiger YouTube, and I don't see very much going on there. Maybe I'm just not getting all that stuff. No, I don't. Okay. So NXU has got a peak E right as we speak. It did a cup formation. It didn't get to the right side high, which would have been the high of September the 18th or something. September the 25th. That was at 645. It's trading at 588. Consolidating in the weekly chart as well. So longer term, I know you're in lower down, Next Gen Energy Limited, just digesting, having a high level consolidation. You don't want it to break if I don't speak to you in the next week or two, and you suddenly see it under $5.35, that's a big problem. But at this particular point, it's really just digesting gains. Next question came in as, all the U's we're doing today. U is Unity. Let me just find it here. Have I updated it? Did I lose all the notation? Probably lost all the... Darn. No, it didn't. Unity Software made a peak E at about 50 in July. This morning it hit a low of 25. I would say being cut in half is a problem with a good green candle so far. Now it's up 7 cents. Can I look at it? Now, let's look at it two ways. If you're holding it because you bought it before and now it's gone under your entry point, this candle is absolutely imperative to monitor, because if there are two closes above whatever the high is today, so far it's 25.44, that is over a point and a quarter above the low of 22.20. If it's able by next week, just to, I usually say tag, in this case, no. It needs to tag the 27.50s. Wow, that's 2 points higher, and needs to then hold above 26.60. In other words, it's got to make very short term, immediately higher highs and higher lows, because the candle that's formed in the weekly chart so far, the day's young, we'll have to wait for the close. This is a red Chapman wave Roman candle at the bottom, not at the top. When it comes after a big move and it's at a low, not maybe the low, but at a low, then the rule of thumb is if it takes out halfway of the wick, that'll be at any point coming up Monday, 23.95. That's on my eye right now at this time at 10:50 a.m. Friday the 10th Eastern time. If it takes that out, be careful, because today's low could be hit. if in fact by Tuesday it's actually able to close even just once above today's high of 25.44. This is the weekly chart that I'm looking at. In the daily chart, that's good. But for the whole week, you've actually got 3 consecutive weeks, of which 2 of the weeks it needs to close above 26.49. That's today's high. So that's
the reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
You might think that if you want to be successful at trading in the stock market, you're going to need a crystal ball. After all, it's impossible to predict the future, right? Like any endeavor in life, before you decide it's impossible, get some advice from the experts. You might find that it's not so impossible after all. For daily market overviews that give you direction on the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, subscribe to the Opening Call newsletter at TFNN.com. The Opening Call newsletter is written by Basil Chapman, creator of the trading methodology known as the Chapman Wave. The Chapman Wave up-down sequence gives you an edge in identifying price turns, finding the peaks and valleys in stock prices. Get the Opening Call newsletter by Basil Chapman in your inbox every day. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know, and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Everything in the universe is governed by the Fibonacci sequence. This mathematical principle is responsible for everything from the most aesthetically pleasing artwork to patterns in the stock market. To stay on top of stock patterns you can take advantage of, sign up for the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter at TFNN.com. When you subscribe, you'll get a weekly report from veteran day trader Larry Pesavento on stocks you need to pay attention to. And you can trust Larry's analysis. After all, he's got 45 years experience as a day trader. Larry will also provide daily charts, videos, and data on the key markets that he's tracking. Expect notifications from Larry on market movement you need to act on at any time. First-time subscribers also get a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not satisfied, let us know and you'll get a full refund within 30 days of signing up. Subscribe to the Fibonacci 24/7 newsletter today. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Yeah, so let me just go through this real quickly. So you can see this is the 1 minute chart trying to come back here. This is the 200 period moving average magnet right there in the 1 minute. There's the 200 period moving average magnet. It's above it now in the 5 minute. There's a Chapman falling axe formation. It'll become an arch, and yet another arch formation. So I'm just going to say to you, if I'm kind of impressed with the action right now, because if this was just a horribly weak session today, I would have to start questioning that single leg 8 to the upside. This way I'm saying, buying is still coming in, and it's rotating a little bit. But I'm also, and you're looking at in the Disney. Yep, I wanted to talk about that. I like the action in Disney so far, just as to say it has some potential to form a base soon. So after 2 p.m., I said to subscribers to Opening Call, if the Dow is up over 80 points, that's really very good action. I said up over 60 points. It's good action. If it starts to pull back and we get just I said if we land up with a little doji close today, a small candle at the end, and then a lousy Monday, that's going to tell me a bunch of things. So we need to see strength. Now, just for those who asked, couple of quick questions. Could I follow through with the Microsoft, what I'm expecting? So Microsoft is still in a leg E because remember the high of it's gone to 364.90. So that extends this leg E. The target that we've had is 366.79, 1 penny. Well, 366, but I'm thinking 366.79 starts the new leg in the monthly, and then we're going to start looking at this inside track repellent zone. Fabulous action. I use it as a proxy for the Dow of the diamonds because they were at the same price, but I wanted something that had AI, was in the Dow, was in the QQQ, was in the XLK, was in all the sectors that were really favorable right now. I think so far it's doing very nicely. The on-balance volumes are a tad overboard, but everything else is still very strong. I just thought I'd mention that. So with that said, check out my opening call daily newsletter. Stay tuned for Steve Rhodes. And don't forget, next week, Wednesday, Larry does one of these fabulous all morning webinars. That should be fantastic. Have a great weekend, everybody. See you Monday. Check out